Star Wars Episode 7 is coming so soon, and I know many of you are excited. I'm excited. I can't wait. I'm going to be there on the 17th with my family, and I can't wait. I also know many of you have been really excited about my Anakin costume videos with the glove and the belt and the boots. And if you want to keep up with more of those Star Wars videos, you be sure to click over here and subscribe. I'm going to have more. And I know today we're going to talk about the Tunics. Now the Tunic is one of those things that have always really interested me. There is a couple things you have to get right to get a good Jedi Tunic, never mind Anakin, and that is a good pattern and good fabrics. Now a number of years ago, many years ago, a great book came out for all those of us that really like to do Star Wars costuming, those like Padmes and Anakins and whatnot, and that was the Dressing a Galaxy book by Trisha Baker. That's this guy right here. And there's some fantastic looks of costumes, close-ups, you name it, and you can learn so much about the process and details. Pretty amazing stuff. Now the cool thing is that there was actually a limited edition version brought out that had swatches. It was really expensive, really hard to get, and you weren't even guaranteed to get all the swatches. Thankfully, some great contacts over at the Force.net forums were able to send me little snippets of the swatches, and I did recently find them again. They were so small. This person literally shaved off half their little tiny swatch so I could see, and I was able to help match much of the materials. That include the robe, the tunics, even the leather tabards themselves were able to match as much close as possible. And it was really eye-opening. Now the tunics themselves are a very crazy pattern. They are a standard tunic style pattern. So you had sleeves, and you had the over, and then you had linings. And again, it's not a super complicated pattern. In fact, the McCalls pattern that was very popular to use by Jedi costumers on Rebel Legion and the Jedi Assembly were very close. Everything except for basically the tabards and the obi themselves. And it's a great starting place, so I'm going to put that in the description if you at all have any interest in looking that up. I think you can still get it, but it's a very good starting point. Now the fabric was one of the hardest parts to get. I was actually able to link up with a really amazing individual out in Japan and who went to China and got fabrics and had some amazing finds. My lining, which I'm going to try and show here in some close-ups, is Japanese silk. It's beautiful. It feels great. I love it. But the fabric of this, now, the first thing a lot of people always say right away is, well, Anakin wears black in Revenge of the Sith, which is actually incorrect. I got to see the costume up close and personal at Celebration 3, and it was the final Mustafar version of the costume. So it was the final iteration. The other scenario was, well, it gets darker as the movie goes on. That's not true. It is a big myth that Anakin wore any black in Revenge of the Sith. So if you're looking at this now, this is more brown. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it any darker. I may still try eventually. We'll see, because it is a polyester blend, but it matched the swatch so perfectly. And this is one of those things where I've mentioned before, where you try and get as close as possible, or how far you go. Do you go perfect, or do you go as close as you can? So it's really kind of hard to get. But as you're looking here, the material texture, the slight bubble, crinkle weave is pretty close. I'm really happy with it. And it took a lot of time to get right. Now, the under tunic that you're looking here, the inner tunic, is actual fabric. I was able to, thanks for a very good friend, found me the last yard and a half, 2 yards of fabric at Satin Moon Fabrics, I believe is the name, and it was amazing find. It is exactly the same material. It is a silk crepe used on the actual costume. So that is one of my most prized possessions, is this inner tunic. Now Anakin actually has, really interestingly, a under fabric tabards and then underneath his leather tabards. So pretty interesting, pretty fun. And then the obi itself, it just basically wraps around with Velcro. Now, there's lots of different ways of doing this stuff. I can go more in depth if you would like. Just ask me in the comments below if you have any kind of question, if you want me to go more depth about how to get patterns or what I did for measurements and whatnot. There's a lot of detail for this costume. I try and get it in these videos as much as possible, but hopefully the close-ups will show a lot of it. But anyway, if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, anything you want to bring up, ask me in the comments below. For now though, if you want to click here and here for 2 other Anakin videos, check those out. The road of getting all these pieces for the most perfect Anakin customer, as perfect as I can get, was really amazing. And I do still have the robe to talk about, and I'll go over the leather tabs as well. Anyway, thanks so much for liking, subscribing, and sharing, but most of all, thanks for watching.